Aside from the thrilling continuation of our playoffs, we'll be looking at the Baseball Hall of Fame's much cooler cousin taking on Jesse Owens in a foot race to save him from janitorial work, and what the movie 42 got wrong about Jackie Robinson, among much, much more. That numbness in your left arm isn't anything that can't wait. The Dugs have uploaded a new video. Welcome back to the Dugs. Everything we do here is an excuse to tell a lot of baseball stories and a lot of jokes, so if that sounds interesting to you, stay in the know and help us grow with a brand new, shiny, free of charge subscription to our channel. This video has a lot of self-contained content, but it's also a continuation of our experimental baseball tournament, so if you want to watch this from the beginning, the link to the playlist is dropping in at the top of this video right now. Okay, into the games. Who loves pitching? Arguably the two best pitchers in the tournament are going to be facing off today, as they've got a combined 31 innings and have given up a single run while striking out 42. I'm gonna get a gargle going and prepare to strap in for an 18-inning scoreless nail biter. Oh, people do this? What in the hell? Oh, let's just rip. Oh, I'll grab the nail polish remover. Anyhow, Smokey Joe Wood is flawless in the top of the first, but Satchel's gotten himself into trouble here in the bottom half. Bases are loaded with one out for Thurman Munson, but that is a grounder in the direction of Bill Perkins, and they've got a chance to turn two. And they do! The Too Soon squander a huge opportunity to get on the board against Page. In the top of the third, it's Smokey Joe that's in trouble, as he hits Ted Bond to lead off the inning, and he subsequently makes it over to third on this double from Sam Bankhead, so it's second and third with no one out. Satchel Paige steps to the plate, no stranger to the RBI in this tourney, but that is a fly out to center field, and it will not be deep enough to score the run. But no worries, this is Cool Papa Bell hitting 110 miles per hour on the exit velocity. Both runs will come home, and the Crawfords are out to a 2-run lead. As fast as that ball was hit, I wouldn't bet on it beating Cool Papa Bell in a race. It was said he could round the bases in 12 seconds. The Guinness Book of World Records has the record at 13.3 seconds set by Ever Swanson. Cool Papa Bell raced Jesse Owens, who is touted as the fastest man in the world, and Papa lost, but he claims it's only because he let Jesse win. You see, the Olympics made Jesse a legend, as he set 3 world records and tied another en route to winning 4 gold medals. But not long after those Olympics ended, he could be found in the glorious occupations of gas station attendant, playground janitor, and dry cleaner manager. But you gotta do what you gotta do to get paid. Athletics wasn't helping on that front. The rest of the Americans went on to Sweden to compete following the Olympics, but Jesse had a few endorsements back home. Well, this pissed off athletic officials and they stripped him of his amateur status, which subsequently ended his career in events that required that amateur status, like the Olympics. On the surface, makes sense, right? If you're getting paid for endorsements and the like, you're no longer an amateur, but Jesse countered with the question of what choice did he have? His race had deprived him of scholarships, and so he wasn't able to take courses in between training sessions and working, so he had to find a way to make money any way he could. Part of that money making was becoming essentially a sideshow. He helped found one of the Negro Leagues, not the same as the Crawfords play in, but rather the West Coast Negro League, which lasted all of 2 months. However, during those 2 months, he'd entertain the crowds by racing horses in between doubleheaders. Here's a clip of one of those races. I'm going to replay the end and turn on the audio, which I believe is the original audio.
So what?
So what? Dude just outran a horse and you finish a news story with so what? Looks like neckbeards have always been a thing. After the Negro League, he'd race local sprinters, giving them a 10 to 20 yard head start and still managing to beat them in the 100-yard dash. It was during this era of exploits that he had several races against Cool Papa Bell. He always won, but Cool Papa Bell claimed that he had to let him win in order to draw crowds. Satchel Paige's opinion was that if Cool Papa Bell had known about colleges, or if college had known about Cool Papa Bell, Jesse Owens would have looked like he was walking. Before getting back to the game, I want to close the Cool Papa Bell chapter with my favorite quote from him. When asked about whether he had regrets about not being born in a different era and thus being able to play in the majors, he replied, "It just didn't come along in my time. A lot of people tell me I was born too soon. I wasn't born too soon, they just opened the door too late for black ball players." As expected, both pitchers have settled down and we're still at 2-0 Crawfords entering the 6th inning. Cool Papa Bell leads off the inning by reaching and then advancing to second on an error by Nomar Garciaparra. Now, I have nothing to prove this, but it's not the first time we've seen this with Papa Bell, and it's possible that the opposing team is rushing due to the man's speed. Speaking of his wheels, he has no problem coming around to score on this Rap Dixon single. Rap Dixon's no slouch on the bases either. He's going to come all the way around from first to score on this double by Oscar Charleston, and so it's 4-0 Pittsburgh, and Rapp adds a 5th run in the 7th with a clutch 2-out single. It's the bottom of the 8th, and Satchel is still in there, so it would appear that he's won this round against Smokey Joe. The Too Soons leave him with a parting gift, however, as this is Curt Flood connecting with a solo shot, and it might be time to get nervous. After that solo shot, Page comes out, having thrown 113 pitches. So William Bell comes in, and Tony Conigliaro makes it back-to-back dongs. Too Soons have cut the lead to 3, but that's all they get in the 8th, so they'll have to get it done in the 9th if they're gonna do it. Freddie Sanchez doubles to make it interesting, but then Ralph Kiner goes down via the strikeout, and Curt Flood, who got Satchel earlier, grounds out to 3rd to end the game. So the Crawfords are on the board and have managed to topple the best performing pitcher from the group stage. Satchel outdueled him, going 7 innings pitched, surrendering only 5 hits and 1 run while striking out 6. Sam Bankhead did a great job setting the table as he led the team with 2 runs scored, helped along by his first stolen base of the postseason. Tony Conigliaro did what he could to get the Too Soons a win, homering and stealing a base, but Page was too much. So let's turn to Game 4 and see if the Crawfords can even the series after dropping both of their first 2 games at home. After winning Game 3, Pittsburgh is going to look to even things up at 2 games apiece. And Cool Papa Bell starts things quickly with a single to lead off the game. But then Tucson's J.R. Richard records 3 straight strikeouts against the heart of the Pittsburgh order in Rapp Dixon, Oscar Charleston, and Josh Gibson. That's how an Eternal puts out a fire before it can get started. He's a card-carrying member of the Shrine of the Eternals, which I think means that if a kaiju happens to attack our town, J.R. Richard will emerge from his grave and save us all. The Shrine of the Eternals sounds like my kind of place. It's essentially Cooperstown without the requirement of getting a quorum of human beings to pull their heads out of their asses. It was created by Terry Cannon as part of the Baseball Reliquary, which among other things features the shrine as well as the Hilda Award that honors fans of the game with a replica of her famous cowbell. I'd go into her a bit more, but I'm seeing that there's actually not much about Hilda on YouTube, which strikes me as a ripe opportunity for a video, so maybe stay tuned for that. The shrine itself reflected its creator's spirit. Terry Cannon was an artist and a librarian, described as meek and mild-mannered on the outside, but a rabble-rouser and nonconformist on the inside. And nonconformity is a perfect way of describing the inductees. Going from the website, the shrine is designed to honor distinctiveness of play, good or bad, the uniqueness of character and personality, and the imprint that the individual has made on the baseball landscape. So there are some obvious inductees that address some of the most common debates of baseball fans. Pete Rose and Shoeless Joe Jackson, both members. But so are more creative choices. Club Snub includes Tommy John, but I questioned whether Dr. Frank Jobe, inventor of the Tommy John surgery, which still rubs me the wrong way, it's not like Tommy is swinging the scalpel, was even more deserving of the recognition. He's in there, and so is Charlie Brown. If you went through whoever represents the governing board of the organization and force-fed them Malort until they can no longer stand, you'd essentially have the Ducks. In fact, I think I've got a new life goal. Aside from the Shrine and the Hilda Award, they also give out the Tony Salin Award, which is given out to baseball researchers and historians. Now, I can't imagine we're big enough yet, but screw surpassing John Boy in subscribers. That one's a given anyways. I want the Salin, so we remain scoreless until the 3rd. One of the key qualifiers the Shrine puts on their awards is distinctiveness of play, not quality. Well, that's a good thing because J.R. Richard is about to make a terrible mistake. With a man on first, Crawford's starting pitcher Spoon Carter gets a sac bunt down. Not only does that advance Bankhead to second, but JR's ballsed up the play, and so what should have been out number 1 is a man on first. He does manage to strike out Cool Papa Bell, which should have been out number 2. And this Rapp Dixon fielder's choice could have very well served as the final out of the inning. Instead, Oscar Charleston singles, scoring Bankhead, and it's 1-0. Josh Gibson follows that with a triple, scoring 2 more. And Pat Patterson doubles him home. It's 4-0 Pittsburgh. And finally, Bill Perkins singles, scoring Patterson from second to make it 5-0. 5 unearned runs in the 3rd give the Crawfords a huge early advantage. The Too Soons get one back, but they still can't put the finishing touches on an inning. Mark Mulder has taken over pitching duties and has retired the first 2 men of the inning. Easy peasy, right? But he can't get Cool Papa Bell as he walks him, and then Rapp Dixon singles, and Oscar Charleston follows that with a single of his own to load the bases with 2 outs, and Josh Gibson coming to the plate. The spice must flow! That is a Josh Gibson grand slam to make it 9-1, and that may put this one out of reach. But Josh Gibson wants to make sure that Tucson got the message. Here he is tripling in the 6th inning, and so his day contained 2 triples and a home run for 10 total bases. It's a great effort, but still short of the postseason record. That honor goes to both the recently retired Albert Pujols and Bob Robertson with 14. Pujols' day came on a day where the Cardinals bested the Texas Rangers 16-7, and Albert contributed 5 hits, including 3 home runs, 6 RBIs, and 4 runs scored. Not too shabby. The 9-1 advantage is enough to get it done in the end, and the Crawfords even the series at 2. Aside from Josh Gibson routing the competition, Spoon Carter also had a nice game on the mound for them, going 6, surrendering only 1 run and striking out 9 while walking no one. Mark Mulder crept the bed, and his runs were earned, getting only 2 hitters out while giving up 4 earned runs on 3 hits and a walk. So one more game today. The winner of our next game will have 2 chances to take the series down with another win. Let's take a look at who that will be. We are all knotted up in the series and have a rematch of Game 1's pitching matchup. Both starting pitchers were excellent last round, but the bullpen surrendered too much for the Crawfords. Let's see if they can pull off the unlikely 3-game sweep of their away games. Actually, we have a chance here to call out today's sponsor, gasoline. If you're not traveling via incinerating the long-dead remains of various living things, are you even traveling? This ball knows a thing or two about traveling. Nomar Garciaparra has gone yard to open the scoring for the Two-Soons. And Koufax has been great. He gave up a single to lead off the game, but that has been all thus far. Leroy Matlock is trying to convince his team that it's not all that hard. See this? This right here is a hit. Now back me up and get me some run support, damn it. The rest of the team isn't having it though, as Cool Papa Bell goes down on the whiff, as does Rap Dixon, and he keeps it going in the 4th. Josh Gibson, Oscar Charleston, and Pat Patterson all strike out, making it 5 Ks in a row for Sandy. The record, by the way, is 6 in a row in a postseason game. But alas, Bill Perkins goes down on a grounder to first, breaking the streak and leaving him 1 short of tying the record. Most recently, it was Justin Verlander going 6 in a row just this past postseason. The 1-0 score holds true until the top of the 7th. The Crawfords were getting absolutely nothing accomplished, only accounting for 3 hits that didn't amount to anything, when out of nowhere, Pat Patterson hits a 1-out triple on the first pitch of the at-bat. We've talked a lot about the Hall of Famers on this squad, but it's noteworthy that Pat Patterson had a better average than all of them in the 1935 championship season. He played a large part in the championship series as well. The Crawfords were trailing 2-3, and they were tied with the New York Cubans in the bottom of the 9th. Patterson doubled and was later brought home by Hall of Famer Judy Johnson to win the game. They'd go on to win Game 7 as well, netting the championship. Well, it's not Judy Johnson bringing him home here, but rather Bill Perkins singling to score him and tie the game at 1. So both starters come out and William Bell takes over for the Crawfords. He went 16-4 with the Crawfords in 1932, but it's not 1932 anymore. I know because nobody appreciates my bowler, but to be fair, my head's gigantic. Once you slap that bowler on there, it looks like someone stomped as hard as they could on the business end of a tube of toothpaste, and the cap is the only thing stopping it from going Pompeii. David Wright leads the inning off with a single, and Tony Conigliaro singles to put runners on 1st and 2nd. And Jackie Robinson only needs to see 1 pitch at this at-bat. That is a late 3-run home run to break this 1-1 stalemate. And I guarantee that this home run actually happened. Robinson's life and achievements were absolutely incredible, but Hollywood still had some notes. Here's an incomplete list of items the movie 42 changed. The home run he hits in the climax of the movie was important in real life, but not as dramatic as the movie would make it seem. One factor that soups it all up is that the pitcher facing him, Fitz Ostermuller, who was a lefty, not a righty as the film had it, supposedly purposefully beamed Robinson. In the movie, he hits Jackie in the head. He did hit Jackie, but it was on the wrist, and the claim was that it was a brushback pitch, not an intentional beanball. Further, no fight occurred on the mound. Further, the home run that he eventually hit made the game 1-0 in the 4th inning. It did not clinch the National League pennant. Jackie was engaged even before he signed a major league contract. The movie has the engagement coinciding with the contract signing. I kinda like it the real way better. She said yes while he was in the military. Didn't need the extra pomp and circumstance that came along with changing the world forever. It's like how my wife said yes to me before I even started this YouTube channel. According to a former teammate and his wife, Jackie never snapped and broke a bat in the dugout tunnel. This one was thrown into the movie because the director refused to believe that Jackie could have faced all of that abuse and that he didn't snap at least once, even in private. Either way, I don't know where this resolve came from. Earlier, I was at the grocery store in the self-checkout. There's like 8 normal lanes open, but this guy, he thinks he's good enough for the self-checkout. He's got the chutzpah to ring himself out. Naturally, he sidles up to the kiosk and starts looking at the thing like it's the monolith from 2001: A Space Odyssey. It took me all of 2 minutes before I start praying to whatever dark god can hear me to strike this man down where he stands. So props to Jackie. We've gotten off track. Right, last chance for the Crawfords in the ninth. The tying run does come to the plate as Pat Patterson singles with 2 outs, but Bill Perkins strikes out, and that's that. Tucson goes up 3-2 in the series and moved to within 1 game of the Doug Season 2 championship round. Sandy Koufax versus Leroy Matlock lived up to its billing. The 2 pitchers combined for 14 1/3 innings, only 1 earned run per side, and collectively the 2 struck out 21. Chester Williams went 0 for 3 with a hat trick for the Crawfords, while Pat Patterson was the only Crawford with multiple hits. Nomar Garciaparra and Tony Canigliaro have been great all tourney, and that continues here as well, as they both pick up 2 hits. And so that does it for these games. Next time on the Dugs, we'll bring you games 3 through 5 on the other side of the bracket. Game 3 features Club Snubs Tommy John facing off against the Diamonds in the Rough ace Walter Johnson. Game 4 will see David Cohn of the Snubs facing off against Diamond in the Rough's Robin Roberts. And Game 5, if it's necessary, will feature Brett Saberhagen against Felix Hernandez. Make your predictions in the comments, and you can win a prize at the end of the season if you're the most accurate predictor. Tell me who's going to win and by what margin. If you enjoyed this, please consider subscribing to the channel, hitting the thumbs up button, and leaving us some feedback in the comments. Coming up next on the Doug Sports Network, it's Get the F*** Out of My Bedroom. We took notes on ESPN's new morning format where everyone's bright and chipper in the morning and decided not realistic enough. So we got real, and we'll hurl sports scores and highlights at you alongside several insults, complaints about aches and pains, and suggestions for where you should go that would be a better use of your time than in my bedroom. As always, I've been Johnny Paprika, hoping all of your balls are fair and all of your wood is good. Good night, everybody.